All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to talk about a player whose glove was so legendary it felt like it had its own gravitational pull. A true five-tool talent who became the absolute anchor of a championship dynasty, Devon White. And that wasn't just some clever saying. That's honestly how it felt watching him patrol center field. The guy was a human highlight reel. But for all the incredible plays he made night after night, there was one play in the pressure cooker of the World Series that cemented his legend forever. To really get what Devon White was all about, you have to go back to this single moment. Picture it. Game 3, 1992 World Series. Top of the fourth, game's tied 1-1. The Blue Jays are up against the Braves, there are runners on first and second, and it just feels like the entire series is hanging right here in the balance.
Okay, so let's break down the play that every single Blue Jays fan knows by heart. It's a moment so iconic, it doesn't even need a fancy name. People just call it the catch. See, this wasn't just about saving a couple of runs. This play shifted the entire momentum of the World Series. Atlanta's David Justice absolutely crushes a ball to the deepest part of the ballpark. It looks like a guaranteed two-run double, no question. But White, with his back to the plate, just takes off, goes into a full-on sprint, leaps, and makes this unbelievable over-the-shoulder catch right before smashing into the wall. And what's just nuts is he gets up, fires the ball back in so fast that it starts a rundown that almost becomes only the second triple play in World Series history. They missed the third out on the controversial call, but it didn't matter. The message was sent. The game was saved.
So where does that kind of raw athleticism even come from? Well, it all starts back in Kingston, Jamaica, where a young Devon White, get this, he actually preferred cricket and soccer to baseball. His journey to becoming this defensive icon is every bit as incredible as that catch itself. This timeline here really shows you the key moments that unlocked his potential. He gets drafted as a third baseman, right? But his first manager in the minors, a young guy you might have heard of, Joe Madden, he sees this world-class speed and basically says, "What are we doing? This guy's speed is being wasted on the infield." That move to center field changed everything. By '88, he's already a Gold Glover. But then a slump in 1990 made him available, and that set the stage for a trade that would change baseball history. And that brings us to the turning point. You know that old saying, one man's trash is another man's treasure? Well, in this case, one team's perceived slump became another team's dynasty-building block. Let's look at the trade that brought Devon to Toronto. The Blue Jays GM, Pat Gillick, was basically playing chess while everyone else was playing checkers. He specifically targeted White because he knew that Gold Glove defense was the perfect fit for that huge, tricky turf outfield at the Skydome. He sent a package of players, including Junior Felix, over to California, but what he got back, man, it was the final crucial piece of a championship puzzle. It's got to be one of the most lopsided and important trades in franchise history, period. And the impact was, well, it was immediate. Manager Cito Gaston just plugs him right into the leadoff spot, and boom, he becomes the spark plug for that legendary offense they called Wham-To. White, Alomar, Molitor, Carter, and Olerud. What a lineup. And he wasn't just a defensive wizard. He hit for average, he hit for power, he stole bases, all while playing that flawless center field. The Jays won their division, and the championship era was officially on. So now, all the pieces are on the board, and Devon White, he becomes the absolute engine of those back-to-back championship teams, and he proved he could drag his team to a win in pretty much any way imaginable. Okay, so how do you even put a number on that kind of defensive genius? Well, the stat geeks have a way. It's called DWAR, or defensive wins above replacement. In that '92 championship season, his was almost 4. Now, what does that even mean? It means his glove, just his glove alone, was worth 4 whole wins more than an average player. That's insane. And it's still a team record. It's the closest we can get to quantifying just how much of a game changer he was out there. And the thing that's just so cool about him is how he dominated those 2 World Series in totally different ways. In '92 against the Braves, it was all about the glove, with the catch basically setting the tone for the whole thing. But then in '93 against the Phillies, bam. He turns into an offensive monster and becomes one of the best hitters in the entire series. He showed he could beat you with his glove and his bat when it mattered most. I mean, just look at these numbers from the 1993 postseason. Hitting .441, getting on base half the time, slugging nearly .900. Come on, that's not just good. That's MVP level stuff, right when the lights are brightest. The man was just on another planet. Okay, and here's a little piece of trivia for you, a great one to pull out of the bar. We all remember Joe Carter's walk-off homer, right? One of the biggest moments in baseball history. Well, who made the out right before him? Who was just one batter away? Yep, Devon White. He flew out. He was literally feet away from being the hero himself, just a tiny, fascinating footnote in a legendary moment that he was so crucial in creating.
So, when you strip away the stats, the rings, the highlight reels, what is it that makes Devon White's legacy still feel so present, so important in Toronto? Why do fans still just call him Devo?
I think it really comes down to his quiet, consistent excellence. I mean, 7 career Gold Gloves, 5 in a row with Toronto. He even went on to win a third ring with the Marlins in '97. And I think it's cool that in 2003, he reconnected with his roots, changing his name back to the original Jamaican spelling, White. His connection to the Blue Jays is still so strong. He works with them today as a special assistant, helping the next generation. He is and always will be Blue Jays royalty.
This quote just says it all, doesn't it? He had this grace in the outfield that made the ridiculously hard stuff look easy. And the spectacular, well, he made that look possible. He didn't just catch baseballs, he erased hits. He demoralized other teams, and he inspired a whole generation of fans with just how smooth he was. Which leaves us with the big question, especially today, in this era of analytics. We can measure everything. We can look at DWAR and OPS all day. But how do you truly measure the confidence a player like Devon White gives his pitchers? How do you quantify the momentum swing from a single catch that changes an entire World Series? You can't, and that's the beauty of it. It reminds us that some of baseball's greatest truths, well, you're just not going to find them on a spreadsheet.